you get the sore throat, the sniffles, you start sneezing.
And the next thing you know, you're sick. Well, Dr. Jennifer McKinnon with the Wisconsin Medical College joins us live this afternoon. We're talking about the myths of colds and flus today. So I guess the first one, the myth is the cold is the same as the flu.
Right.
Dispel the myth.
Right. Okay. So a lot of times people get the runny nose in the beginning and they feel like, do I have the cold or the flu? Should I see a doctor or not? Well, the runny nose in the beginning is usually a sign you probably are just dealing with the cold.
Okay.
When you really get that feeling like a ton of bricks hit you and muscle aches all over and a high fever, then you can think, well, maybe I have the flu. And it's good to try to be seen in the first 48 hours if you have the flu, because you can be tested and given medicine to shorten the duration. But of course, the best thing for the flu is to get the vaccine.
What about going out in the cold, you know? Don't go out, you're going to catch a cold if you go out there. And let's throw in the wearing a hat thing.
Right.
You know, your mom always told you to put on a hat.
Right, that is so true. Definitely, people think you're out in the cold, you're going to catch the cold. Well, you're going to get cold, that's true, but you're not going to catch the cold.
Okay.
That is a myth. They actually did a study with children that were bundled up and ones that weren't, and there was no difference in them contracting the cold, the virus, the cold.
Just one was colder than the other.
Right, and the cold is caused by a virus. There's actually hundreds of viruses that cause the cold, so that's why we never test for them per se. Now with the enterovirus D68 going around with mostly children, that's a little bit different presentation, and that actually you could be tested for, and that's mostly in children that we're seeing in Wisconsin.
Echinacea, a big one. People think if I take echinacea, this is a natural way to deal with the cold. Fact or myth?
Well, actually, it is not. So it has been studied multiple times in like thousands of people with a placebo pill versus echinacea, and it has been found to not be helpful.
So I'm just buying into the myth?
Right. But
that
being said,
echinacea with some ginger.
That being said, a lot of the studies had a lot of differences when they put them all together. So some people do get a placebo effect, and then certainly in a tea, I think it's helpful. Warm liquids are definitely helpful. Other herbal supplements that people come to me with is zinc, for example, and zinc has been studied in multiple studies as well, and if you take it within the first 48 hours of getting the cold symptoms, it might shorten the duration by about a day is what they're seeing. But to prevent getting the cold, taking zinc, you'd have to take it for a good 2 months regularly to really prevent getting the cold. So I don't know if people really want to do that.
Right, the vitamin C push, is that what the airborne is? Or?
Yeah, so vitamin C, again, big studies, thousands of people, they put them in multiple different placebo versus vitamin C, and really what they've teased out is it's helpful if you're doing heavy duty outdoor sports, like if you're a marathon runner or skier, then for sure build up your vitamin C levels. So I mean, I think, you know, if you go skiing, you might want to build up your vitamin C, but otherwise,
but if I'm just outside hanging with Courtney,
right, you don't have to be
taking,
and it has to be regular vitamin C you're building up in your body. It's not shown to help with symptoms acutely. Even though it's definitely
so what
nice
you
to have.
just roll with it?
Suffer. You just wash your hands to try to prevent it, and you suffer.
Exactly. Well, you know what? If you have a question for our expert, you can simply email them at asktheexpert@today'stmj4.com. You can also leave a voicemail at 967-52.